When you're negotiating with a brand and they will not budge on their budget, what do? Do you walk away? Do you try to convince them that paying you this much higher amount makes sense? Well, in this video, I'm gonna take you behind the scenes of a real coaching call between me and a creator named Josiah, and I reveal the sweet spot when it comes to setting your rates as a creator. I have a little bit of inside info on this particular agency. Because, and in fact, you have access to this since you're an alumni of Brand Deal Wizard, but I actually interviewed one of the VPs of this agency, and so you should go back and watch that interview because we actually talked about this very specific situation, not this brand, but just generally, why it's difficult sometimes to negotiate with certain agencies on different deliverables. And so it's very similar to this thing we just discussed around that what they're selling through to the brand, because they're an agency, it's very much this volume play. It's like, we're going to work with 50 creators. We're going to do 50 TikTok videos. That's just what it is. And we don't, we have this certain budget that we're allocating. And this is what it is, take it or leave it, right? Because this is a scale play. They're going out with this offer to 1,000 creators or whatever, right? If they're going to partner with 50, they need to know who's available, who doesn't have exclusivity with other retailers, like whatever it is, right? And so I have found with this particular agency, as well as other agencies, like who are just very much kind of cut and dry in terms of take it or leave it type thing, that, if you're not satisfied with this rate that they're paying you, move on. It's okay. Contrast that with maybe you are. This executive even said that, we know that we don't pay like the highest rates, but that's because when you do good work for us, we will bring you tons and tons of business. It's a volume approach for us. And so going back to this whole idea around this kind of diversified stock portfolio, like I say, like maybe you're going to do 5 deals with them, and that's going to every month, and that's going to represent, several thousand, tens of thousands of dollars for you in your creator business. Is that rate going to be lower than what you're going to charge another brand or another agency that reaches out? Yes. But that's a decision that you make in your creator business. And so one of the things I teach is that you need to have pricing consistency per agency and per brand. So if you agree to a certain rate with this particular agency, you better know that's the rate that pretty much you're going to be able to charge for all the deals that they bring to you, for the most part, right? Maybe there'll be a little bit of wiggle room. But another agency, because what happens is that contact shares your rate with all their colleagues at that agency, right? Another agency, though, doesn't have that precedent. They don't have that point of reference, because really people at different agencies don't really talk to each other. Similarly at brands, right? Like if you can, for the same TikTok deliverable that this agency that you quote them, whatever it's going to be, 1,100 or $2,000 or whatever it is, for the same deliverable, you could charge another brand $10K, one TikTok, same amount of usage, right? Same deliverables, same whatever. Right. But that's because that's what their goals were, and that's what their budget appetite was. And so as long as there's pricing consistency per brand and per agency, you should be willing to accept like all different types of deals, different rates, different prices, depending on the deal dynamics. And so this is something that is not palatable to a lot of creators, because they just feel, no, I'm not going to accept lower than 5K per post or whatever it is. But I think that's hogwash. Like if you want consistency, if you want income certainty, if you want to continue to get business over and over from agencies and brands, just understand that you're going to be paid different rates for different deals. And that's okay.
It's going to be different for everybody. Like where do you draw the line then? I understand you may not get the total amount that you're looking for in one deal, but if it's going to bring you more business in the long term, that's valuable too. I understand that. But then, like, where do you find that line?
You have to pick your hell yeah number in these situations. Okay. If the brand said yes to you on this lower package 1 or whatever that you like, less deliverables, like everything's stripped away, and they said, hey, let's do that package 1, you'd be like, hell yeah, let's do this. I'm stoked. Right? Contrast that with if they pick it and you're like, oh crap, I got to do this now, then you price too low. It's not scientific, obviously, in that scenario. But it's like, no. You know what I mean? It's like, and so the line there is like, you never want to resent the opportunity or the relationship or the collaboration. And so in the scenarios where it's like, hey, yeah, I'm going to make $2,000 on this. Like I'm cool with that. Like that's fine. So I think that's not, I know, again, I realize it's not super scientific, but again, this is about consistency. And so ensuring that you have consistency with your contact. You're not coming back to them with a rate that's 5x what you quoted them like a couple months ago for the same deliverables, this type of thing. As long as you feel good about the deal that you're moving forward with. Like if I were you, one of the struggles that you haven't really articulated, but I'm sensing for you is that, you've utilized a lot. You've looked at your performance. You're doing pretty well. You're getting views. You're getting all these things, and you're pricing yourself pretty aggressively. Based on some of the benchmarks that you've looked at in terms of how to price and all that stuff. And it just feels like it's like really high, and basically no one is saying yes to that. And so basically is what I want you to hear is that I am giving you permission that it's okay to be more conservative with some of these packages that you're coming out with, to try to figure out what is the sweet spot for your niche, for your platform, for the types of stuff that you're offering. Maybe the appetite, the demand for what you're marketing relative to all the other options that this brand has out there, other creators, et cetera. Maybe it's less. And so you just have to ascertain that by experimenting with different packages and different rates. So I would say probably a big takeaway from what I've seen right now is that experimenting with some lower rate packages, I think probably would be worthwhile, and to see if there's more of an appetite for partnering with you at some of these things. And so that's not to say that there won't be opportunities that you can't charge a lot more money for, but again, it's so deal specific. And so generally the note is like, on a whole, perhaps lowering the band of where you're charging, you might start to see some more success and more traction.
And primarily doing that by reducing deliverables. Is that right?
Yeah. Reducing deliverables, reducing, again, all the levers, right? The timelines, the payment terms, the usage rights, the exclusivity, paid rights, whitelisting, deliverables. Like those are all the levers. You got a lot of levers, rounds of revision, right? Stretching the payments between different quarters, monthly installments. So there's a lot of levers that you have. And it's just a matter of figuring out what combination of those the brand gets excited about.
Yeah. And I've done some of those in the past too. Like you said, asking for like monthly installments or pulling it from another quarter, another budget. So I'm aware of those levers too.
One other just quick insight here is that, for example, that local restaurant that we initially talked about, saying, you quoting them, tens of thousands of dollars for the deliverables, like in their mind, I do this a lot, is like put the hat on of the business owner, right? And if they were thinking that like, we want to run ads with this content, their calculus of like their options is like, okay, are we going to hire Josiah, or are we going to go out and hire a photographer or a videographer or a food stylist? The food stylist is going to be $2,500. We're going to own the rights in perpetuity. We can run the ads for as long as we want. Like that. And that is like a major reason that even though they say they want brand awareness, we still want the content. Like that's still important to us, even though they're not saying that, right? They could in their head be like doing this math and doing this like decision making that you don't know about. And they're just being like, there's no way I'm going to pay Josiah $55K to like get these assets and like do these things. And so, again, I think a lot of insights can be found just kind of like taking your creator hat off, completely forgetting about the fact that you're getting 50,000 views per reel or 100,000 views per reel or whatever. Like, imagine that doesn't matter to the brand at all. Like, if it was my business, if I was a business owner and a creator came to me and said, you have to pay me $55,000 or $125,000 or whatever to do this, like as a business owner, that has to make sense. I have to know what is the return I'm getting from that, whether it's an agency, whether it's a big brand, whether it's a small brand, whatever. Oftentimes that can like be a helpful thought exercise, I think.
Yeah. I totally understand. I had another question I was just going to ask about that. Oh, so if you're pitching like content repurchasing, like just UGC, like they're just not going to be posted on mine, it's for them. Anytime I've done that, I've pitched it as like it's just a video, and it could be used across like however many channels you're on that has short form vertical video. That's the right way to go, right? Like you're selling the video, and however they want to use it, they can use it. It's not like you're selling it per platform, correct?
Yeah, I mean, but I would probably be more prescriptive about the strategy, though. I wouldn't just say, oh, use it however you want. For someone that needs content, they probably don't know what they're doing. So I would probably be more prescriptive about like how you would advise them to use it. You could say, here, I'm going to give you a cut. I'm going to give you a wide cut. I'm going to give you a portrait cut. I think you should be running ads with this, on Instagram stories or TikTok or whatever. I think you should do X, Y, Z. So it might be more of a strategy, content strategy proposal that you give to them, maybe you're doing more than just delivering content. So I'm not so sure that I would just offer it in a vacuum. I think maybe there might, tying a bow around it of like other contextualize it basically of like, here's how I think you should use it on this platform. You should do here. Oh, I noticed you're not on this platform or whatever. Or you're not running ads. Like you should probably be doing that. Here, I can deliver content for you to help you do that. Right. So I think there's probably just another step you need to take to make it actionable for them.
For sure. I should have added more context to that. Like why they should do this idea for videos or like video series and what it can do for them, and then even running paid ads. Yeah, that for sure. But I was just talking about that one specific part of like not breaking it down to, oh, if you want to use it here, here, and here, it's going to be this. But if you only want to use it here, it's this,
no,
right?
they're going to own it. They're going to own it.
Right,
like
right.
For you either gate it, or you limit the usage for a certain duration, which is sometimes tough for UGC because they'll just say, well, why are we going to do that? We need to own it perpetually,
Yeah.
But you should always lead with like, hey, you can use it for 3 months or 12 months or whatever. But yeah, any platform you want to use it on the website, they basically will get non-exclusive rights to repurpose it across all those different platforms. And so, yeah, you wouldn't need to really be prescriptive there.
Unless
that won't really make
they
sense
want
to them.
Yeah, unless they want to use it for paid ads. Is that when you would kind of gate?
Yeah, I mean,
if it's 3, 6, 9?
For sure. I mean, you should be limiting the fun. There definitely are brands that won't entertain this at all. They'll say, hey, if you're going to make content for us, it's like work for hire. We get the rights to it. Like we can do whatever we want to with it, putting it on social, putting it on paid rights. Like, what are you trying to limit this for us? There's definitely brands who are going to say that actually. But there are going to be some brands that are going to be like, okay, fine. 3 months, paid rights. Again, it's the brands that don't really have a lot of experience with this. Those are the ones who are going to be more amenable to limiting the rights and the fact that you can do organic versus paid or whatever. It's just a conversation.
What's more the norm? It seems like just in my head that they just like, they want to own it and do what they want with it. That's it.
That's more the norm, 100%. Like, because that's what they're used to. Hiring photographers, hiring videographers, getting the buying out the ownership rights of that for commercial usage, all that stuff too. So that's what they're used to. Right. So you coming in and pitching anything other than that, if they have experience doing that, is going to be not the norm.
Got it. Okay.
Like here's the thing. We used to be part of a multi-channel network when we were in our YouTube heyday, basically. And one of the people who worked at the network told us, something very interesting that's always stuck in my mind was, we have never had millions of subscribers, 10 million, like we've never, it's always been like kind of like hundreds of thousands. That was like kind of where we were at. And this person at the network said, you and your wife get a lot of business because you are in the sweet spot of what most brands can afford. There's very few brands that can afford 6-figure budgets for like one influencer or one creator. The vast majority of brands, like the vast majority of brands, the sweet spot for them is like 5 to like 50K. Like that's the sweet spot for like the vast majority of brands. And so if you can remember to always try to like understand where do they fall, but where do most brands fall within that range while you're talking with them, and ensure that when you present proposals or packages to them that you have some like feasible packages within that range, then you're going to win a lot of business. And so I've always kept that in mind as like, I'm not, I also have no problem walking away from deals, but I'm also not going to be the person quoting 250K, $1 million on different deals. Cause I have the humility to understand that like we're not the creator that's going to command those rates, and that's okay. And so we built a really robust business over the years, just like hitting singles all day long, basically hitting singles, hitting doubles, and like, we built up a great life. Yeah. Just getting on base. Like, hey, if you want to give me a walk, like I'll take a walk. You want to hit my pitch, I'll take it. Right. So it's like, but it's like, I'm getting paid at the end of the day. I have a great livelihood for my family. Right. So, I don't know, that anecdote always stuck with me. And so I just wanted to leave that with you because I think it's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, you can win plenty of games by getting on base more than the other team.
So we're not done. There's actually 2 additional negotiations that I helped Josiah think through, and some really important mistakes that you need to avoid. So make sure to check out this video.